politicians in North Carolina are thinking of paying victims of sterilization $20,000 each. Right after World War II, and even before World War II, there was a whole eugenics program here in the United States. And what they would do is they would sterilize people that they found menaces to society. Okay, people that they felt were incompetent, wouldn't be able to raise children, people that they thought were promiscuous, mostly women and mostly black people. Let's keep it real.
Yeah, what an unbelievable coincidence. I didn't see that coming.
And what's interesting about this is there were 60,000 women in 32 states that were sterilized from the 1920s to the 1970s. Okay, a large chunk happened after World War II. Isn't that what Hitler did?
You know, on a much grander scale, obviously,
right.
And a much more dire consequence, but the ideology is the same. And you know, the thing is, you know, people always say like, oh, yeah, but you know, racism and stuff, ancient history. It went into the 1970s that it wasn't just mild racism. They were going and you know, sterilizing predominantly black women because you know, they're promiscuous and we don't want their kind having kids.
We have an example for you guys. CBS News did a really great video featuring a woman by the name of Elaine Riddick. And when she was 14 years old, she was raped and she got pregnant as a result. She gave birth to the baby, and right after she gave birth, she got sterilized because they said that she was promiscuous. Okay? Video explains more. Let's watch.
Say hello.
At 57, Elaine Riddick has a house full of godchildren, great-nieces, and nephews, but only one child of her own, a son. When she was 14, Riddick was raped. The day she gave birth, doctors sterilized her on orders from the state of North Carolina. Her illiterate grandmother signed the sterilization papers with an X.
I've always been able to take care of myself. I've never been promiscuous. So how can people use these things to describe a child that had been abandoned or that had been raped by the neighbor and then again raped by the state of North Carolina?
What happened to Elaine Riddick in North Carolina happened to more than 60,000 people in 32 states from the early 1900s to the 1970s.
The people who were the focus of this kind of movement were people who were the dispossessed of society. They were poor people, and in some cases, simply people of color.
They slandered me.
North Carolina is the first state to consider making amends with a cash payment, $20,000 for each victim.
It sounds to me like you're still
hurt. I am devastated. I am mad. I am mad. And I'm tired of hiding my feelings, and I want everybody to know who should pay.
A decision on compensation could come sometime next year, but Scott, lawmakers would still have to approve the funding, $69 million to pay the victims.
And news reports are that with the Republicans in North Carolina, the chance of that passing is incredibly small. So, we sterilized you, so what? Go pound sand, okay? So, by the way, you know, she's still alive. It happened to her, right? And it would happen as late as the 1970s. You know who else is still alive? The people who did it to her.
Right.
The people who made the decision that a 14-year-old girl who was raped was too promiscuous.
You know, I love that you mentioned that because those people genuinely thought that they were doing society good. Like, they didn't do it thinking, oh yeah, let's screw these people over. They actually thought, look, these people aren't competent. They can't have children. Okay, we can't allow them to parent. So we're going to make society a better place. We're going to make their lives easier by taking away their right to have children. Like, they genuinely thought that. They talked themselves into thinking that. You know, some of them were interviewed by the Associated Press, and you read their comments, and you're just like, oh my God, they really thought that they were helping society.
No, I understand that, but they also thought, well, we're helping society because, I mean, these black people, of course they can't take care of the babies and stuff, and you know how black people are, they're promiscuous. At the age of 14, how in the world was she promiscuous? I just can't get over it because she was raped. I mean, but that person making that decision, and he might have thought that he's helping this black woman because she obviously is not as capable as white people or whatever, but is obviously racist, okay? Now, this isn't just about race. It's a much more important issue in a sense is how rich people viewed poor people, right? Like how poor people can't take care of babies. They're incompetents and they're promiscuous. You know how poor people are. And all that race and poverty, et cetera, all that mixed in, especially in places like North Carolina. Look, part of the reason I'm telling you this is it's an outrage that these people are not going to get any compensation, anything, any acknowledgement, really, right? The other part of it is, sometimes we're like, I'm surprised by the overt racism that I see in this country, right? And I think like, whoa, how can anybody think that, right? But the guys who are still around who made decisions like that, of course they think that way. And, you know, so racism in this country isn't something that's, you know, ancient history. It's unfortunately part of the fabric of this country in some ways. Has it gotten better? Of course it has, right? But at the same time, it's still in there, you know, from varying degrees. And unfortunately, in the older generations, I mean, they lived in a different social context. Again, I'm trying to be fair to them, right? And they lived in a context where racism was rampant. So they thought it was perfectly normal, right? And in their own twisted minds, they thought they were helping these people, for example, right? But they're still out there.